So, I'm gonna start off this video by lighting a candle, lighting some candles. So this is one flame represents the past, one flame represents the present, and this next flame represents the future. Three flames are lit. The three flame candle. I don't want to take forever on this video, but I do feel like it's therapeutic to just kind of like unpack and share. I made a couple of posts um, on Facebook and Instagram when things kind of happened, and I wasn't gonna post anything on YouTube, but I don't know. I feel like just sharing a little bit is important. Um, I'm in a lot better place than I was a few days ago. I think some of what I've been feeling is a little bit of guilt. You know, you always blame yourself. You always feel like it's more you could have done. It's more you could have said. You wish you could have did something differently, and you don't. I don't think you ever escape that feeling. Like you never escape feeling like you may have potentially played a part. You may have had something to do with it. I'm not gonna pick any bones about what I've been going through lately. Um, I was already kind of spiraling before what happened with my husband. We were legally married. We got married in October the 4th of 2022. So we met each other in like July, the end of July. Oh no, actually we met each other August the 7th. And we got married like 2 months later. Everything happened kind of fast. I didn't tell anybody we was legally married because I knew people was gonna think it was crazy. Like, why you get married so fast? You know, like why, you just kind of rushed into that. So I didn't really want to deal with people's judgments. So I never publicly admitted that we was legally married, but I dropped a lot of hints, and my close family members knew, like my sisters, my cousins, my daughter who I was real close with. They knew because I had, my daughter actually video recorded the wedding when we were at the chapel being married, and he was like my first real love, in New York. He was like the first guy that I was serious about, like the first guy that I could honestly say that I gave my heart to, like that I really wanted to be with. And it's a whole lot that goes with that because I was trying to take my mind off of another guy that I cared for. And then there was another guy who I had feelings for, who wasn't ready to commit. It was two other guys that I would have been serious about being with. One of them I had a few years history with, and the other one I had just been dealing with on and off for about a year. And I knew like I just wanted to move on with my life. And so when he came into my life, it was like a whirlwind. Like we both was Geminis, and we just had this. It was just what I needed. Like on so many levels. Like he made me laugh. He made me feel safe. He was, he didn't stay mad. Like it was fun. I felt young. I felt sexy. Like it was just these things, these feelings that I hadn't felt in a long time. I was feeling them with him, but he processed information differently. He didn't. Um, but that's one of the things that I loved about him. Like he didn't need a cell phone. Like he wasn't distracted by cell phones. Like most of the time you're in relationships with people and you can't talk to them because they always on their cell phone. So that wasn't with him. Like he'll talk to himself. Like he could create a whole world by himself. Like he didn't need like he didn't have no porn addictions or no cell phone addictions. Like like when we was together. Like I put my phone down and be more focused on our relationship and our bond. And so it was a lot of little simple things that I think people take for granted in relationships that I had with him that was just hard to explain with to other people. But my biological sister, she understood it because like she didn't judge me when we started to have problems in a relationship. My cousin didn't judge me. My first cousin, she didn't judge me when we started having relationships and issues in a relationship because they know me, and they was like, you fall in love fast and you love really hard, and um, I was happy that the females in my family did not judge me, did not condemn me. My mama, she had a couple of smart words to say, but she wouldn't be my mama if she didn't. Like my mama have always been just like rough with her speech, and now today I understand, that was her way of trying to prepare us for the world. It traumatized me a lot as a child, but I'm 45 years old and I'm at a place where I could legitimately say thank you, to some of the mean things that she said and how she said them because she was preparing me for a world that can be extremely thoughtless and extremely insensitive, to people who have this color hue, to people who are, more feminine than masculine, like so she was like preparing me, and I may not always agree with the method, but I get it now. I get it now. Um, Me and him brought in the new year together, and we were together. We didn't bring in the new year together. I brought in the new year with my daughter, Pernisha, my oldest, and when I brought in the new year with her, I went to go and meet up with him the next day because we weren't physically staying together because um, he was on probation, and so not probation but parole. And I tried to make it so we could live together, but the system had affected him so much to whereas he was afraid that if he persisted in living with me, some kind of way he was going to end up going back to jail. And so he was afraid to follow through with us living together. And so we didn't live together. And this created a strain on the relationship because I lived in Brooklyn and he was in Harlem at the time. And so it started getting cold. And, if I wanted to see him, I would have to travel almost an hour to see him. And he would have to travel an hour to see me. And, you got to be able to pay your train fare there and back all the time, and it started becoming taxing. So we weren't seeing each other as much, and as often as we were in the beginning. And so it started to become taxing on the relationship. And, you know, I was feeling that strain. I was feeling the strain of my job. Um, then, close to the end of my job when I stopped working there, um, I had to work for Thanksgiving, and somebody stole my wallet with my passport and all that in there. And at the time, I was going through it with these girls. Certain girls were saying certain things about me on the internet. And I take responsibility for the role that I played in some of the malicious things that were said to me because I said some things, and so I take responsibility for the things that I said. Uh, that's why this year I want to be different, with what I put out into the universe. I'm not trying to be a goody two shoe. I'm not trying to be perfect Patty. I'm still gonna be human. I'm not gonna always get it right in everybody's eyes because what's right for me may not be right for you. So I'm not gonna always be right in everybody's eyes. My grandmother used to always say, "You could please some of the people all of the time, and you could please all of the people some of the time, but you can't please everybody all of the time." So I'm in a place of peace with my personality. Everybody's not gonna like me. Everybody's not gonna get me. Everybody's not gonna accept me. My platform is not for everybody. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that today. I'm okay with that today. Um, but I was in a good place and everything just started to kind of like go left toward the holidays. Like I said, during the Thanksgiving holidays, which are holidays I don't really celebrate. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate those holidays, but I also try not to make other people feel uncomfortable because I don't celebrate those holidays. So it was important to him. So for Thanksgiving, I didn't eat, but I went by where he was staying and I brought him a plate of food that I had cooked. Um, for Christmas, for Christmas Eve, because I wanted to fast on Christmas Day. Um, I went and got him, and I took him out to eat, and we spent time together, before Christmas. Um, then for New Year's, we didn't bring in New Year's, but we spent New Year's Day together the next day, and he left on like the third. A lot had been going on in my life. Some of my old behaviors started to resurface, because I was in pain. I was in pain over losing my ex. I was in pain over them stealing my identification. I was in pain over the fact that I knew I was going to have to quit this job because it was no longer a healthy environment for me. But I still felt like the job gave me purpose and it made me feel a part of something bigger than myself. And so, knowing that it was time for me to step away from the job, I didn't want to step away from the job. I liked, having the additional income. I liked being valued, by my coworkers and some of the participants at through the organization. I liked that, but the reality was that it was time for me to step away from the job, and because I was refusing to listen to what was being said to me, things started to become very difficult for me. And some of my old behaviors started to resurface. You know what I'm saying? I started using narcotics that I don't traditionally use, stronger ones. And I started just exhibiting behaviors that I had not exhibited in a long time. And it was brought on by stress. It was brought on by the shift that had to happen that I was struggling against. Because I wanted things to stay the way they were. I wanted everything to stay the way it was. I wanted my season where I was happy and I was enjoying life. I wanted all of that to stay like it was, and it just wasn't meant to stay like it was. And so I was fighting to try to hold on to things the way they were, and I was losing the fight. I was losing. I was not winning. Um, Everything, just the separation with, with the things, the stress between me and him, my ex dying of an overdose, just every my stuff being stolen on my job, the internet static. It was just a lot. I was beefing with my mama, my biological mother. I was, worried about my biological father. Like, it was just so much that was going on. The holidays are a rough time. That's why I kept saying, check on your family, check on your people, check on your people. And as I'm saying, check on your people, I'm like literally just being stressed out every which way that I could potentially be stressed out. And so, like I said, I had started to um, I had started to uh, get back out there and start doing things that were just out of character for me, that had been out of character for a long time. Every now and then I'll dibble and dabble, but it was beyond dibble and dabbling. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and keep it real. It was beyond dibble and dabbling. It was more than a dibble and a dabble. I was having a moment. I was having a moment. I was pitching a tent in chaos, frustration, and pain. I had started camping out there. I had them pitched a tent. I was camping there. I had to set up a site. There was a weenie roast at play. The girl was vacationing in turmoil. And it's amazing, like, my husband, he loved me more than he was able to express because he was institutionalized and also his brain worked differently. So he really missed me and he wanted to come home, but he didn't know how to say it the same way the other one didn't. The one who died December the 3rd told me to cancel the ticket for him to come up because I wasn't going to be in a physical relationship with him, but I wanted to be there for him to support him. And I even expressed this to my husband. Like, I'm saying, I'm not trying to, replace you, but I do want him to. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say it probably wouldn't have got messy and it probably wouldn't have been no child. It would have been a whole bunch of confusion because, if a girl could have lived out her fantasies, girl, she would have had some polyamory, girl, and had two husbands. Amen, they want me. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it real. Shame the devil. Shame whoever, about to tell his lie. But that wasn't the goal. Like, I wasn't bringing him up here with the intentions of having a three-way love affair. Like, that wasn't the intention. I loved him. I did not want to see him expire. So I reached out to him. I booked his ticket and I was bringing him up here. And in the process of me bringing him up here, he told me to cancel the ticket because he wanted to stay in New Orleans. Then 2 days later, he asked me to get the ticket again. So I was kind of mad because I'm like, I just booked this ticket for you and you canceled the ticket and now you want me to get the ticket again. So I paused in my response to him. And we talked for like 30 seconds. And then 2 days later, his mother and his sister called me and told me they found him dead. Now, I'm beating myself up, even though it was nothing I could have done. I'm thinking of all these different scenarios and ways I could have changed this. I could have altered that from being a reality. So I began to beat myself up. I began to put myself down. I began to blame myself. I began to think of alternate ways that I could have kept this from happening. And the more I did that, the more I dwelled in that, the more I pinched that tent in turmoil, the more my old behaviors started to consume me. The more they started to take hold of me. See, I'm not here to talk about nobody else today. I'm here to talk about me. See, this is what I feel like there's a problem in the world because we're always looking for someone else to blame. We're always looking for somebody else to blame for our trauma. We're always looking for someone else to blame for our suffering. We're always looking for, and let's be clear. Everything is not always our fault. But I can't focus on what you're doing until I know what I'm doing. Let me say that again for the people who might have went over your head. I can't focus on what you're doing until I know for a fact what I'm doing. So my life is really always about how am I showing up? What's going on with me? And people say that's selfish. People say you're self-absorbed, you're self-consumed. You're always thinking about yourself. You're always talking about yourself. Well, guess what? That's the only person that I really have any control over. That's the only person that I can really ever hope to master or fully understand is myself. So this whole journey is about me understanding me so that I can be less harmful towards others and more loving towards myself. Amen, a woman. So I'm spiraling because I'm starting to beat myself up because I'm trying to figure out what could I have done differently to keep my ex from expiring in that body, to keep my ex from leaving me here, to keep my ex from deciding to give up his vessel and transition that body and go on to the next part of the journey. I'm beating myself up because I don't want to go out here and be the Ragnarok, be the destruction for other people. I don't want to go out here and be that chaos in someone else's life. So chaos, because see, some of y'all are dragged for me and say, oh, she doing this, oh, she doing that. But y'all out here harming other people. Y'all out here destroying other people's life, thinking that you're helping, thinking that you're making the situations better, but you're actually creating the problems that is causing so many of us to be suffering because this reality is toxic. So yes, I began to self-harm. I began to be more altruistic rather than going out here and making other people pay because I was in pain. I began to inflict pain upon myself. That's why when they was talking about that man committing suicide and that man committing suicide, talking about how weak he was, I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and commit suicide and take their own life, but I'm never going to support the narrative that someone taking their own life is a coward's way out. Because half of y'all scared to die. Half of y'all want to live forever in the same body. Half of y'all are afraid to die because you don't know what's up after that. You haven't done enough work within yourself to be at peace with the possibility of death. My God is God today. You're not at peace with it. You're frightened. But you have the audacity to say somebody that have the courage to say, you know what, I'm done here. I done seen enough. It's not working out. I'm ready to hit the reset button. I'm ready to go ahead and reboot this. Y'all have the audacity to call them cowards and say they were scared and they took the coward's way out. No, I have a lot of respect for people who, my worry when people commit suicide or when people take their own life is you not knowing who you are, you not understanding who you are, you never really getting a chance to understand who you are, what your purpose was, and you checked out before you realized that it wasn't really you that was that fucked up. It was the system that you had to navigate. See, I don't like when people check out like that. I don't like when people check out before they get a chance to figure out who they are. Because a long life doesn't always constitute a meaningful life. Let me say that again. A long life does not always constitute a meaningful life. Some people live to their 80 years old and haven't accomplished anything but bigotry, ignorance, and anger. It is the bitterness of it all that wakes them up every day. They wake up every day to be a Scrooge, to make other people uncomfortable, to talk down and criticize, and to be self-righteous as if you have the right. Some of y'all live to make other people miserable. You grow old because you're afraid to die, and so you continue to live in that fear that makes the people around you miserable. But some of us got to move out the way spirit. And so that's what's been in my life. My partners that I've been, tied to for the past couple of years, they seem to have this move out of my way spirit. If you can't help me, please don't block me. Move out of my way. Don't try to stop me. And so my partners have been moving out of the way. My husband moved out of the way. He was struggling mentally, and the system failed him as it has failed so many of us. He left from by my house. He left from by my house, and not even 2 days after he left my house, they believe that he was dead. Part of me believes it was because he wanted to come home. He wanted to be with me, but he had already done so much to be a part, to say, no, I need to work my program. I need to be over here. I don't want to go back to jail. I need to be over here. I wasn't even giving him the space to be there because I was so drained from what had been happening. And so I called myself, I'm going to be firm. I'm a stand in mind. I'm not bowing down. I'm not, it was a clash of egos. I wanted him to come home. He wanted to be home. He had too much pride to say it. He even dropped a hint to it one time. He said, you want me to come? Like when we got back together for New Year's, it was just like old times. I thought we was on a good path. When he didn't respond the next day, when I didn't hear from him for a couple of days, I thought he was being stubborn. He wasn't being stubborn. He wasn't breathing. He wasn't being stubborn. He wasn't breathing. But I didn't know that. And so that's what I've been dealing with. Trying to make peace with that. Feeling like I should have been over there. Feeling like I should have been checking on him every day. But it was taking so much from me. It was taking so much out of me. I felt like I wasn't going to have nothing left. So when he didn't show up for the next couple of days, I went to cutting up again. I pitched the tent in my turmoil again. And I used again. I used other people. I used other drugs. I used because I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to go over there and cuss him out. I didn't want to go over there and exert my power. I'm your wife. I didn't want to go over there and say, you know what, let me put you in a mental hospital. Let me, because I'm not sure that these people are going to be any better. I'm not sure that I'm putting you in an environment that's going to be even better. Just because they got a license, just because they got credentials, just because they went to school, that don't mean they give a about people with mental health. That don't mean they give a about people who've been to prison. Credentials don't mean you care. A degree don't mean you have a degree of respect. It doesn't automatically denote a degree of compassion. So I allowed him to make his own choices. I allowed him to have sovereignty over his decision making. And now there's a part of me that needs to feel control, that's like, I should have done this. I should have done that. I could have done this. I could have done that. Then I'm in communications with his family, his biological sister and his biological brother, and we are clashing. It's been a time, but you know, I think me and his sister, we getting to a better space, but it's been rough. It's been rough. It's been a lot of miscommunication going on. And I've been trying to be patient because not only did they just lose their brother, but they recently lost their mother. And so I've been holding my tongue a lot. And that has been difficult, especially when I have not smoked weed in over a week. And anybody who know me know I love a good joint. I done had a cocktail or two, but I ain't smoked weed because I'm really afraid of the cocktails too. I'm afraid of all of it now. Fentanyl is a killer. Fentanyl is in everything. So y'all be careful out there with them ecstasy pills. Y'all be careful out there with them Xan bars. Be careful with your cocaine, your crack, your Tina, because they putting fentanyl in everything. And fentanyl don't give a about you, your mammy, or your pappy. Fentanyl is like a bullet. It ain't got no name. So y'all be careful out there in them streets. Because they was never your friend. But in 2023, they really ain't your friend. And I'm not condemning going. But make sure when you go in a way where you can have some dignity. You go in a way where you're ready to go. You go in a way where your family and your friends don't have to worry about how they're going to send your body on to the next part of the journey, because your soul is already gone. And that's what I told his sister when we was talking. I said, you know, because I'm not going to the funeral because the family was Catholic. I'm not going to be there. But I have been honoring his soul, praying for his soul. That's what I'm concerned about, the soul. I let the family tend to the body, even though I'm family too, because I was legally his wife. But we wasn't together for a long time, so I'm not going to come down there and bum rush and try to take over. Even though, you know, when I met him, just saying, I was his everything. I was his everything, you know. The piece that I get is that he was my first and only love in New York. Not gonna be with no other man there. I'm not interested. Not interested at all. And I'm thankful that I was able to be with somebody that can make me happy. Somebody that can help me to grow spiritually, because I had to learn patience with him. I had to learn patience. Ooh, baby, when I tell you that man taught me patience. Ooh, that child taught me patience. He wasn't just my husband, he was my brother, he was my son, he was my friend, he was my brister, my brother, sister, he was my mama, my papa, mama. Like, we were connected on multiple levels. We were connected in so many different ways. And I know he's free right now. That's the peace. That's the peace that keeps me from losing it. I'm not in New York right now. If I was in New York, I'd probably have a toe tag on. I ain't gonna lie. If I would have found out this information while I was in New York, I don't think I would have survived it. Because I already feel like being in New York is like doing time in the feds. You know, it's concrete everywhere, dog poo, poverty, people begging, rats. And it don't matter what neighborhood you live in. It's people begging and rats and concrete everywhere. I can't do that right now. I need some trees. I need some fresh air. I need to stretch, need room. I was tired of being in that matchbox in the concrete with rats and dog poo on the sidewalk. And every time I walk outside my door, I can't walk 3 blocks without somebody begging. And then the most hurtful thing about that is, yeah, it be white people begging, it be Spanish people begging, but most of the people, I'll never really see no Asian people begging. I'm always seeing people that look like me begging. And that's hard. When you gotta constantly look in the mirror every day at your direct ancestors that just done lost all dignity, all self-respect, don't care. Don't even ask you how you doing, how you feeling, how your day going. You just a walking ATM. That reality is depressing. And so I needed to get out of that environment because I wasn't going to survive. I needed a break. And then the time that I had to take to save my life, to save myself, my husband left. I'm on the bus. I get here. I'm working on an art project, getting peace of mind, and I receive a phone call from his PO saying they got a death certificate. Now, mind you, I'm still trying to get this book done, and so the book deals with a lot of childhood trauma. So I'm in reviews with the book, so I'm reliving my childhood trauma through trying to get this book out. Meanwhile, I'm dealing with my adult trauma in relationships. Being constantly reminded of how this world is cruel to people who are born with penises who don't fit into the idea of what it means to be a man, who don't perform masculinity in the ways of the patriarch and the founding fathers. Masculinity is really about being a workhorse. It's really about being a slave to an industry. Those are the men that we respect. We respect the workhorses. We respect the soldiers. We respect those men who would give everything for industry. In these streets for industry. Those are the men that we value. The men who will sacrifice it all for the resources and the access that the brotherhood affords them. Then we turn around and want to talk about oppression. This is why I'm not new to this lay lim, lay learn. I'm true to it. This is why I consistently honor my mother and my father. I honor my masculine and the feminine. And I constantly call the binary into question. Because it is that illusion. It is that part of the game that has brought the most turmoil to my existence. And the men who have been bold enough to love me. Damn binary. I love having a vagina and bottoming and being penetrated and being the female in the relationship. Well, not necessarily the female, because the female ain't always the one bottoming. Excuse me. I ain't mean that. I'm 45 years old. You know, some things is just. But I love being on the receiving end in intimacy. I love responding in a way that my foremothers have traditionally been known for responding. But I'm whole though. Today, I don't put down my father, but I have questions, Dad. I have questions, Grandpa. I have questions, Great Grandpa. I don't put down my mother, but I have questions, Mama. I have questions, Grandmother. I have questions, Great Grandmother. And we should all have questions. We shouldn't be just going along to get along, all willy-nilly. So I'm not going to apologize for having questions. But I will apologize for how I've been asking these questions. As if I do everything accordingly. As if I am without fault or failure. As if I don't ever miss the mark. As if I always hit the bullseye. Because I don't. I don't. So I want to thank you for time. I want to thank you for the heartache and the pain, the sunshine and the rain, and for allowing me these seasons to figure out the part that I play. Because some of my sisters and brothers, some of my bristers, my brothers, sisters, some of my whole ones, you don't live long enough to learn the error of your arrogance and your ignorance. And I sympathize and I empathize with you. You don't live long enough to learn just how much harm you caused people. You were intelligent, but you were insensitive. You were an intellectual, but you weren't thoughtful. You had all the right words, but you didn't think before you said them. You spoke from your heart, but it was at a time when you couldn't channel anything but pain. Today I pray for my brothers and my sisters and everyone under the sound of my voice that you give yourself a second. Give yourself a moment to collect yourself. And I'm speaking as someone who is guilty of this. Give yourself a minute. Give yourself some time before you speak, because words hurt. Words create systems that create prisons. Words create laws that take away freedoms. Words silence, they mute, and they erase. That is why they say that the pen is mightier than the sword. So I pray for your thoughtfulness today, that you think before you speak. Whether you're joking or whether you're serious, you're summoning a world that your ancestors and your descendants may someday visit. You can only be placed in bondage by this. There's life and death in the tongue. But there's also freedom and imprisonment in your very own tongue. We focus on the life and the death, but understand that life and death is also an abstract way of expressing freedom and liberation. There is freedom in our speech, and there are prisons in our speech. So please stop placing us in prison. I'm working on me. It's a constant work. It's an everyday work. I'm still on a universal potter's wheel working on me. This year, one of the highlights is I had the opportunity to reconnect with a daughter who I said some mean things about in the past. And I said it because I was in pain. And don't get me wrong, I feel like we need to purge ourselves. I feel like we need to get it out, and that's why I get on social media on my own platform, because you ain't got to click on here. I ain't gonna tag you in it. I ain't that messy. But sometimes I be needing to release, and so I get on my platform and I purge it. So I won't go to your house or be in your neighborhood or be at an event spewing out that. If you decided to click on when you saw what the energy was, then you was here for it. I'm not excusing my behavior. I'm just saying, work with me. Meet me in the middle. Because I can't just let all this sit up in my spirit. I got to get it out. Y'all say, don't put your business out, don't talk. Well, guess what? People who ain't putting their business out is dying quick. Stress is killing them. They dropping from heart attacks and strokes. They expiring early because this world is not your friend. So sometimes I got to get it out so that when I'm navigating spaces and places in real life, I'm not walking in there with all that on me. Because you're going to feel it. Because I'm powerful. Anybody who's been in my presence will tell you. And I didn't ask for this power. I did not. I did not. I'm going to be honest with you. I've literally prayed to be simple-minded. I'm thankful that the ancestors didn't answer that request, that they ignored me and they knew I was talking out the side of my neck. But I have literally asked to be simple-minded so that I could just enjoy life like some people do. But when I was little, when I was 6, I used to get on my knees every night and pray for wisdom. And they gave it to me. And everybody else was praying for superpowers and money. I wanted to be wise like Solomon, never knowing that the journey it would take me on in order to achieve that which I was praying for. See, in order to get what you ask for, you got to go through something. A lot of y'all, you want the end results. You want to be that butterfly, but you don't want to be in that cocoon. And baby, when that caterpillar is being refashioned and reshaped and reformed inside of that cocoon, I could imagine that watching that, I wouldn't have the urge to go eat right after that. I wouldn't have an appetite after watching all that mucus and all that breaking down and reconfiguring and all that matter being transferred and transformed inside of that cocoon. I could imagine that it wouldn't be a delightful sight to witness. And see, a lot of people don't understand, we don't all stay in the cocoon the same amount of time. Some of y'all done came out the cocoon and you're flying. Child, I came out the cocoon some years ago, and then I flew for a little while, and child, I had to be reborn again. Got my sex change, and the spirituality, the religion wasn't working out for me. A lot of things weren't panning out for me, so I had to go back in the womb, back in the cocoon. Come on now. I'm literally still in the cocoon right now. My God is God today. You're witnessing. I'm not a butterfly and I'm not a caterpillar. Right now, in this moment, I am inside of the cocoon, working on me. Some of y'all be so ready to fly, but you need more time. So don't be in a rush. Don't rush the process. Some people don't peak until they're in their 40s or their 50s. Look at Viola Davis. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Some people don't hit their stride till they get 40. My God is God today. So don't be in a rush for your season. Because sometimes the longer you have to wait for that season, the more glorious it's going to be. My God is God today. So don't let this machine rush you and convince you that you need to get it now. You got to have it right now. Because you're being saved for something. You got to, I always say, slow heating is good eating. Some of the best meals, they take hours. You put that meat in that crock pot and let it cook all day. You was hungry. You could have put it on the stove and it could have been done a lot sooner. But would it have tasted the way you wanted it to taste? See, only my cookers gonna understand that. See, you got to be a cooker to know what I'm talking about right now, baby. If you don't cook, if you're used to going and having your stuff served to you, you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about, baby. Because, see, we put down the server. We put down the waiter and the server and the cook. We call them the help. But baby, if the help ever get over your nonsense, they could poison your ass. So be careful how you treat the help and the servant, baby. The one who's serving you while you in your season, baby. Be careful how you treat the ones that's serving you while you in your season, baby. Be careful. Amen, a woman. So, baby, this might be a season where I'm serving. And you sitting down and eating and being waited on. You sitting at the table with massa because it's your season, honey. And you looking down on me because I still ain't in my season yet. But baby, when I get ready to sit down at the table, I'm not going to be the type of person that want to sit there and be bougie and think that I'm better than this person, baby. I might tell the person who's serving me, I might tell my cooks, baby, y'all sit down. Y'all sit down tonight. I'm cooking tonight. Take a load off. Rest your feet, baby. Because I've been through something. And I'm never going to forget where I came from. I get some change, honey. I'm going to be the type of woman, the type of person, the type of human being. When the ancestors finally open the doors and they flood me with the blessings and they open up that cocoon and they allow me to fly and they allow me to soar and they allow me to thrive, I'm going to say, sit down, baby. Sit down, baby. You ain't got to, no, get off your feet, baby. You've been cooking for me all this week. You've been waiting on me all this week. Let me serve you. I know I pay you and I pay you good. But let me show you how good the ancestors have been to me. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And I'm trusting. Because I'm always going to be a servant. I'm never going to get too good to serve. I have not been that traumatized by slavery to forget who I am. Some of y'all, you done bought into so many slavery stories, and you're so caught up in, I ain't never had nothing, and my people didn't have this, and my people didn't have that. I'm not living in that narrative with you. Because yeah, my people have been slaves. Who haven't been? What people haven't been enslaved? What people haven't suffered? I'm not going to stay there with you. The stone has rolled away. Not going to walk around carrying that until it give me a stroke and a heart attack. And I die broke and miserable because I'm bitter. I'm holding on. I'm not going to hold on to that with y'all. Not going to keep trying to prove my blackness. Not going to keep trying to prove my negritude. Because I know who I am. Whether I'm serving or whether I'm being served, I'm still divine. Because that's what the divine is. The divine is the server and the one who's being served. That's being whole, honey. The divine doesn't just sit up on a throne and rule. The divine does acts of service. And that's what Jesus was showing us. That's what Jesus' example was about. That's what Buddha's example was about. It's not just about reigning on a throne. It's about serving. So I ain't gonna never be too good to serve. I ain't gonna never be too good to scrub a toilet and wash a dish. Gonna never be too good to wait on somebody. Y'all so ashamed of where you come from, you ain't whole no more. You're broken. You want to be grand. You want to be bougie. You always depicting yourself living the high life. But we don't never see you with your hair a mess because you're in service. We don't never see you with some sweaty workout clothes because you're out running. You're embarrassed to be seen with some form of struggle on you because you're broken. You're broken.
And they done made broken people leaders. And that's what's wrong with this world. We'll never see you swimming. We'll never see you camping. We don't never see you out there with nature, communing with the animals, communing with your ancestors. We always see you at Black Excellence with your monkey suit on. God, goddess, forgive me. An illusion. A piece of something. Ashamed of your ancestors, how they toiled and sweated. Can't see the divinity in it because the mirror that you're looking through is cracked. You're not sovereign. You're the illusion of sovereignty. Because sovereignty does not come without service. And as I'm saying this to you, I'm talking to myself. I have to remind myself. Because the world will make you hard. It'll make you bitter. But we can't let the world change us. Because when we do, we leave nothing but sand and concrete for the ancestors who are coming. And what thrives in sand and concrete, but more sand and concrete? My God is God today.
This is what I've been working on. I made this from scratch. These are my two pieces. This is Laylim Layler. And this is Layler Laylim. So Laylim Layler is the being of light. It's the being purple, which represents wholeness, masculine and feminine, chaos and order, dark and light. Both of them represent that. Both of them are sovereign. This the Laylim Layler being is holding the book of the whole ones. You see, it's holding the book of wholeness in his hand. So imagine this to be a book, and our names are written in the book of wholeness. So this is holding the book of wholeness. This is the reverse. This being is smaller because little things matter. Everything ain't just about big. You know, little things matter. So I wanted them to be polarities. This one is black and white. This symbolizes death. And healing can come in death. And that's why the hair, the crown, is orange because it represents death. It's holding a cocoon, and a caterpillar is crawling on top of the cocoon, reminding us that even in death, life is still stirring about. And so these beings, I created these beings during my grieving period. These are the first beings that I've actually made that could stand on their own. Girl, baby, she got cake, don't she? Come on, cake! Cake, yeah, work it. Let me stop. But he got a little cake too. Wait, hold on. He giving you a little cake. Yeah, he giving you a little side cake. Come on, little side cake. But they both got they both got infinities and chakras going down their spine. Then this one got the infinity symbol over here on his side. I wrote my husband name right here. I used to call him Pama, so it's engraved on this side. And then my name, Kaneem Mafa, is engraved on this one. Aaron's name is engraved in this one. So Aaron's name is right here. So their names are engraved in both of them. But these are working on these have been helping me to find peace because I'm dealing with, understanding. Wait, hold on. I'm dealing with understanding life and death, and so that's what these items have helped me to do, like to make peace with life and death. and just to become better at that. I got me some canvases, so this week I'm probably gonna paint. Um, if y'all want to support, because you know a girl not working right now, if you want to cash app me, it's Laylem Layler. Y'all should know how to spell it by now. But if anybody want to support, the art, it really does help. This is my therapy. This is why I haven't killed myself yet. So if you feel moved to support, thank you. If you don't feel moved to support, then share something that I said with somebody. Say it to somebody. Share it. Click like on the video. It don't cost nothing to click like. Just to help to get this message out because it did come from my heart. So sow in a way that you're moved to sow. But sow. Please, um, because this comes from my heart and I communicate. I don't think that we should always talk sweetly to each other. I'm not one of those people. My mom and them used to talk tough to me. And I think the world conditions us to think that we always have to speak sweetly to each other. But no, we don't want to be weaklings. You know, it's about finding balance. Not overdoing the harsh talk, and also, I'm not finna baby you on everything. I'm not finna baby you. I'm not finna baby you to the point of where I'm enabling you. Like, no, like, give you some tough love sometimes. But I'm also not fixing to always just be, I ain't never got nothing sweet or never got no softness. I can't never, like, I don't know how to cry with you. I don't know how to be soft with you. I don't want to be that person either. Life is about balancing. It's a balancing act. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I'm getting ready to close out for y'all. I said everything that I needed to say. I love you so much. The people who took the time to watch this video, the people who took the time to give me a thumbs up. Um, I'm glad, that I got this out and I got through it without crying because I really did think that I was gonna cry. But I've been doing a lot of crying, and crying is healing. Nothing wrong with crying. But my daughter Pernisha, she always say, "Mama, you're strong." I want you, like, she encourages me to be able to get through things without always crying, and I understand where that comes from. That's not her putting down crying. She just loves me and don't feel like everybody deserves to always see me being vulnerable because vulnerability is sacred. Being able to be vulnerable is sacred. And I know that I'm a strong person and it's a gift to be able to create a space for other people to be vulnerable, but everybody doesn't always deserve to witness the sacredness of your vulnerability. So I understand it. And so I'm working on, every time I get around people not crying, because everybody don't deserve to witness that. We just gonna go ahead and keep it real. But if I would have cried, I wouldn't have felt bad about it. But I'm thankful that I got through this video and I was able to express everything that I needed to express. I was grateful that I got out everything that I needed to get out. I'm thankful for everybody who's been reaching out to me, everybody who has been checking on me, everybody who has been sending text messages, donations. I really want to give a shout out to Olivia, my sister Olivia. She has been going through a lot of stuff, in New Orleans, and I could tell that it's been difficult for her. But you don't know how you bless me, girl. Sometimes you be sending me these long text messages, girl. I'll be like, girl, I'm going through my own stuff, girl. I can't read this whole thing, girl. Like you sending me, girl. But the fact that she can be thoughtful while she's in crisis and look out for me while you're in crisis. Like, sister, I love you for that. Like me and you been in each other's life on and off ever since we were 17 years old, 16 years old at the government house. We used to say,
If that bitch don't treat you right, get yourself a morphodite. All right, fucking right, it's all right. All right, fucking right, it's all right. I had to curse, like I had to curse because that's what we used to say. That's what we was. You know it. Now you say intersex because it's politically incorrect to say morphodite. You know it's politically incorrect to say that, but we didn't owe nobody no explanations. Like we was considered abominations and outcasts in society. So we didn't have no point to prove. We didn't have to uphold nothing to nobody. So yeah, and I actually, talked about that in the book, like how we used to do that when we was younger. So like I really I just appreciate you for consistently being there for me. I appreciate my cousin Kitty, my sister Shell, my daughter Pernisha, everybody who been reaching out to me, checking on me, making sure I'm okay, like I just love y'all so much. My sister Jessica, like my brother Leon, way in California, called me to check on me, had me cracking up laughing, my Bristol empathy, just everybody who have been looking out, and just checking on me. Um, Okay, all right. I definitely look into that. Thank you, Damon. But yeah, like I'm gonna go and take a walk after this. Like go and take me a little walk in nature. I be liking to be barefooted sometimes. I'm a little it's cool out, but I be liking to put my feet on the earth. And hit my bare feet on the earth like that really just be helping me. But yeah, so I'm in a place where I could do that. I'm in the South. I ain't saying exactly where in the South, but I'm in the South. But yeah, so next month I'm going on my first cruise because one of my sisters, who I've been knowing for a long time, she's getting married. She's trans. She's post-op, and she's marrying a trans man. And that narrative for me is just so beautiful because most times the trans men don't be wanting to be with the post-op girls. They be wanting to be with the pre-op girls. So, my sister give me hope, like seeing her find happiness with a trans man. Like they literally get married and she post-op. So like that is just I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to share in that energy. I want my energy to be right when I go there because my sister are vegan. She take good care of herself. They both vegans. So I'm ready to go there and give up meat and do my little meat cleanse. I've been eating meat down over here, but do my little meat cleanse, get my spirit right. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm supposed to have I got approved for my vaginal deepening surgery. I was supposed to have it at the end of this month, but I wasn't mentally in a state to go and lay on that table and let them, work this pussy. So I'm not gonna go right now, but they changed the date. It's still gonna be this year, and it's still coming up soon. So I'm excited about that, and I want to be mentally in the space. I want to be spiritually in the space for that because I feel like I've grown so much spiritually. So it ain't just about being able to take a bigger penis. It's just like I just feel like I've grown a lot spiritually, and I want my physical body to align or to connect, with how I see myself spiritually. So I feel like I've gained more depth and capacity in my spirit, and I want, that to reflect in my physical vessel. So I got approved for it. I'm excited about, that, and I want to be ready for it because I want to get, the optimum out of it, optimum response. I've lost so much this year, so I'm hoping and I'm believing and praying that this will go exceptionally well, and I will have exceptionally amazing results. I do plan to share that journey. I want to do. I was supposed to do my what they call that? What's the name of that? Oh, what's the name of that? When you have the people, it's another site. It's called I can't think of it, but I was gonna do it earlier this year. It started with an H, but it's another site where people share stories and all of that, and people can support you and sponsor you on that. And I was gonna do it earlier this year, but I don't feel like I was ready. My book is getting ready, like my book is really really close, like literally. Like I think within the next 30 days, like we'll be ready. It kind of got slowed down because of everything that I've been going through is really me, because I have not been able to, review it and do the return edits as fast. Kind of got slowed down because so much been going on. Like they would have released it with all of them. Like I think when the book comes out, it's still gonna have errors in it. We're not gonna be able to get all of the errors out of it. It's still gonna be grammatical mistakes up in it because I'm a little bit dyslexic, so I could just imagine all of the grammatical errors that was there at first. And like I done looked over, like I done read this book, I don't know how many times now, and every time I look, I'm seeing another grammatical error. Like I can read it, I can understand it, so it's like me trying to make sure that, because every word that I say is very important to me, and when I read, even if I'm not writing it right, I see what I meant to say. And so I want other people to see what I mean to say. And so I'm being like really, really tedious with the process. Every time they send it to me, I'm finding things that I could have possibly overlooked because I done had to read it so many times. I don't know if they're reading it as thoroughly as I have, because I think certain things you should just be able to figure out. Like, you didn't know what I meant to say right here? Like, really? Like, for real, girl? Like, but whatever. So like I still see some errors that I feel like need to be corrected. Um and I feel like we're gonna have to, take this girl to the candy shop one more time, but I feel like at the end of the day it's still gonna be some grammatical errors. But y'all gonna be alright, because I have a GED. Like like it's not a mess. Like 95% of it, I'm gonna say 90, no, I'm gonna say 97% of it. I'm just trying to get it to that 99%. Like I'm trying to get it. Like right now, I feel like it's at 96. I feel like it's at about 96%. I'm trying to, because I know people gonna come for me. Like me just worried about, people using these little bitty, I want everybody to understand all of the messages that I'm trying to convey, because all of these words are important. Everything that I'm saying is important. And so, the book is almost here. I already got another idea for a new book. I already started working on another book. So I'm really excited about that, getting this book out. And I feel like once the book is out, then I'll be ready to do the page that I was supposed to do, um, the private site where I was supposed to do, and I'll talk about my book, on this site, and also, give updates on the journey, with the vaginal peritoneal journey that I'm about to undergo. So like those are gonna be like, that's where I'm gonna talk about that more in detail, talk more about that journey, and also just really like kind of like read from the book and build a more concise audience, there. I feel like, I'll be ready, because I know me. I have to be honest with myself. If I don't have a script, it's capable of going anywhere. I can admit this about myself, Neil. If I don't have a script, if I don't have something in front of me to kind of tell me which way, because I'm gonna try to play with even the script. There's still gonna be some ad libs, still gonna be some add ins. We still might go off script, but let me get a script in front of me. So my book is gonna be my script, and I'm gonna speak mostly from that, focus on that, and also speak more focused about, this peritoneal journey. So these are two different things
that I want to have as content on that particular site when I launch it. I feel like now I'm ready. I'm feeling more ready. You know, I need to grieve a little bit more, get myself together, and so hopefully by the time I relocate out of New York this year, because I want to be done relocated out of New York by my birthday, my 46th birthday. I want to be done relocated. I think I'm gonna still be in New York for Pride, but after Pride, I'm probably gonna be ready to make that move around. If not before then, but then I will be focusing on, book promotions relentlessly, and cause baby, I wanna do some one woman shows. I wanna do some skits. I wanna, adopt a play out of it. I wanna, like, I'm trying to do all that, but building the content and just, focusing and being more concise. That's one of my goals for this year, to, be focused on my conversations. I also want to help, the art that I'm working with now, and also just like my advocacy. I'm looking towards my advocacy becoming more politically aligned, and developing and taking lay lim lay lur, which is my spirituality, which is becoming a religion, a man and woman. I want to, tie that all together, continue to tie that all together, a man and woman. So anyway, let me get out of here. I feel like I've taken enough of your time because we've been on this live 81 minutes. Oh my goodness, this was a long live. I must have needed it. But anyway, we light this candle to guide the ancestors on to the next part of the journey. This candle represents past, present, and future, which is in my mind the true Trinity. I love you all. Thank you all for supporting me. Have a beautiful evening and enjoy your new year. And remember, when you take the time to be thoughtful about what you say before you say it, you can help to free someone rather than place them in another prison. Love y'all. La 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 la.